So how many of you have been to the Bookworm? That doesn't really sound like a lot for all the people that are out here, so I'm going to need to change that. How many of you visited all of your any other local bookstores in Georgia? Well, we are going to talk about the importance of doing just that, because as this young mentioned, online is something that happens a lot, and sometimes you guys feel it's easier just to go online, but there are ways to support us online. So I wanted to bring awareness and kind of highlight and give you an opportunity to ask us some questions. So as our bookstore owners make their way to the stage, I'm missing one. That would be me. If I can have Kim McNamara, who is the owner of Read It Again Books, if we can give her a huge round of applause as she makes her way to the stage. And if I can have Lavanya Tinsley from All Things Inspiration. If we can have her make her way to the stage, to give her another huge round of applause. And I hope you guys know that this banner is weighted in the back by some tables, so I am watching it, but I think we good. If I can have Bunny Hilliard from Brave and Kind Books to the stage. So our one other panelist unfortunately could not make it at the moment. That is Jasmine from Bird Talk Books, which is in Locust Grove, so another bookstore to support. And of course, most of you know, if you don't, I am Julia from the Bookworm Bookstore, which is right across the street. It is the Bookworm Book Fest. So, before we kind of get into anything, I want to give these ladies an opportunity to tell you a little bit about themselves and the store, and then I will actually do the same as well. So I'm actually going to co-go as moderator and panelist. So, Miss Bunny, would you like to go first? Okay.
Hello, is this on?
Yes.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
You're good.
Hold it up at the top. Right. Hey, everyone. Hi. My friends call me Miss Bunny. My name is Bunny Hilliard. And as Julia said, I'm the owner, founder at Brave and Kind Books. And that's Brave and Kind. We opened in at the very end of 2018. We're about 5.5 years old. And we are primarily a children's bookstore nestled in the Oakhurst neighborhood of Decatur, but we're an Atlanta bookshop. And so we sell children's books. We have a handful of adult books or a shelf or two aimed at helping us all to become better humans, or hoping us to inspire us to do that. But we opened in 2018 in an effort to shine a spotlight on celebrating and elevating diversity and inclusivity in children's literature. Our new tagline this year is Stories Connect Us, and I think it's important for all children to be able to come into a space and see themselves on the shelves, not as a section in the store, but that's the store. You come in and you see all of the things. The quote on our bookmark says, we have to teach our children early on that in diversity there is beauty and there is strength. And so we use that as a guide as we choose and curate the books, the collection for our store. And we're so excited to still be here supporting our community through author events, through community events, through school events, and just being able to come in and connect all of the families and kids over stories in our shop. So thank you for having me, Julia.
Absolutely.
I think Julia and the Bookworm is top notch. She inspires me to keep doing what we're doing every single day. And so welcome to the first Book Fest!
Lavanya Tinsley. I'm the founder of All Things Inspiration Boutique. We have a store location in Mableton and then another one in East Cobb. We're a faith-based store, majority faith-based store, and we do sell other popular books that are not just faith-based, inspirational, and also African-American literature. One thing that we right now we're one of the only Christian bookstores in Cobb County, and so we're just trying to make sure people know that they do have a Christian bookstore that's still around. We do celebrate community in our store. We just started doing more author events, as well as workshops for the kids, and we are going to continue. We're just glad to be here.
Thank you, Ms. Lavanya. And Kim.
Hi, my name is Kim McNamara. I own Read It Again Bookstore. Okay, so it's a little far from here, but I don't know about you guys, but I would drive hours to go see a good bookstore. Yeah. So we are in Johns Creek, Swanee, South Forsyth area, across the street from Emory Hospital. This is our 22nd year. My mother and I opened the bookstore in '02, and both my mother and I, and Lavanya encouraged me to talk about this. Both my mom and I are neurodivergent. My kids are all neurodivergent. So we really wanted to create a safe space for every reader, because not every reader is good at reading, and that should not stop you from enjoying it. Like, I am a horrible speller. My children, when they were like in 3rd grade, were spell checking for me. And I mean, growing up, I didn't have Google. I didn't do talk to type. I had a great aunt who spell checked all my papers, and she's the reason I graduated high school. And now I have a bookstore. So we're a new and used bookstore. You can trade in your used books, get more used books. We do author events, story times, book clubs. Today in the store we had Alice in Wonderland story time, and I'm really sad I missed it, but I'm glad I'm here. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So, I'm Julia. I am the owner of the Bookworm, which is right across the way. We are new and used. The bookstore has been in the community for close to 20 years, but I took over November 2020 in the middle of craziness. I purchased the store. So we are in the beginning of year 4. Very excited. We are very deeply rooted in the community. I do a lot of things in the community as far as different events. We do a lot of great author events. We had the week full of events, of course, this week, and prior to that, some of our friends of the Book Fest are authors who could not make it in person but still wanted to support. So we have Wanda Morris, who came in right before her flight this week to sign copies of her books. So since she couldn't be here, we do still have signed copies. The same thing with Farrah Rashan. We had the honor of hosting her during her release day of her newest Twisted Tales book. So we have signed copies and fun stuff for that, because unfortunately her schedule did not allow her to permit. Our other friends of the Book Fest is Pinky Cole. As you know, she has a cookbook out. She has another book out. She is a friend of the Book Fest, and her schedule did not allow for her to be here as much as she wanted to. But we do have the Slutty Vegan Food Truck here, so I'm really excited about that. So again, that is Julia. That is the Bookworm. I kind of want to dive into the importance of supporting your local indie. I will say that both, and I'm going to put you on the spot kind of, Bunny, with myself, but both Bunny and I am actually board president for our Southern region for booksellers, and Bunny is also a board member on that board. There are over 30 bookstores, or close to 30 bookstores in the state of Georgia. And I will say in the last year, 3 of those have closed, just in Cobb County alone, I think. One of which was in the community for not years, but decades. And that has a lot to do with the unawareness of some of the things we as indies can bring to you. So I want to, and I'll answer this question last, because I got the mic and I can do that. But what are some of the things or misconception of what an indie can't do? Cannot do. Like I do, and I'll take it first. I will say sometimes the misconception is if we do not have the book in the store, that you have to go to another big box store to get it, that I can't order it. And that is such a falsehood. We have an opportunity for you to get that book. I can either order it for you or go through different portals. So that's what I mean. Some of the misconceptions of we might be small, but we are mighty, and we can do a lot. We can't always give you the same discounts, but we can do a lot. So that's what are some of the, as people come into the store, some of the things that they're like, they don't think you can do, but you can do.
I've got one. People don't think that indie bookshops can give you audiobooks. And You can absolutely purchase, download an audiobook, and support your local indie bookshop. So there's a website called Libro FM. As a matter of fact, they have a program, a special going on right now. If you make the switch, I think you can get 2 free audiobooks, Libro FM, and you choose your local bookstore to receive the proceeds from your sale. And any book that's out there under the sun, largely, whatever your next great listen, your next great read, you can download that and support your indie bookshop. So all the things that other big box, big place in the sky, not in the sky, can do for you, we can, and we will work really hard to try to make that very same thing happen to you, but with a smile, maybe a little dance. You know, we often say every time you purchase something from a small bookshop or from a small business, but especially an indie bookshop, an angel gets his wings.
I would say discounting. We're not able to discount what the other people do, but we're able to discount on like bulk sales, as well as we do work with bookshop.org, which is our partner, and they do offer discounts on there.
I want to say we do not sell Kindle covers. And we can't walk you through how to fix your Kindle or Nook. Because I have been asked that before. I don't think there's a lot we can't do. Absolutely.
Totally agree.
Yeah, and we are so important to a community. Like, look how beautiful this event is. This would not happen if you guys didn't have an independent bookstore. You guys would be sitting at home flipping through TikTok. You would be out in the sun and buying books and meeting your friends and neighbors and discovering your community, if not for your amazing independent bookstore. It wouldn't happen.
So true. I will say one of the other things I think is a misconception, and comes up a lot, is that independent bookstores don't want to support local authors. That is such a huge misconception for us. It's not that we don't want to support local authors, but local authors are competing with all authors. So just like we can't shelve all traditionally published authors, I can't shelve all locally owned or locally published books. So it is a misconception that we don't want to work with you or we don't want to stock your book. But there are ways and there are things just like every other book. So I think that's a big misconception. Let's talk about the importance of community in the bookstores and kind of how you guys, because we each do something different and unique. So what is unique? And I will say on Kim's, and I'm going to start with you, Kim, just because Kim, the reason I want to start with her is because she's farthest away. But I visit her store every chance I get. It is fabulous, and it's fabulous. So
okay, let's start with beef fight.
Right.
Let's start with for every dollar that you spend in an independent business, I think the math is still the same. 60% stays, or 60 cents stays in your community, and 40% goes off to do other things. So for every dollar you spend in a large corporate big box store or website store, what was the percentage? Do you guys remember? I should have looked this up before I brought it up. But it is much smaller. So keeping your money in the community, the easiest and best way to do that is to support your independent businesses. So for my business, you can trade in books, just like Julia. We give you credit, and then with that credit, you get half off used books. So you can also do things like, we have an account for teachers. And this account is where people have donated credit specifically so teachers can buy books for their classroom. So if you were going to buy a $5 book, that book would be $2.50 for teachers to put in their classroom. And it's a really great way to support your community. So many people are huge readers, but they can't keep up. They got all these books, and they need to rehome them. And we'll find a good home for them, and we can give them credit, or you could donate the credit to the teacher's account. We also donate a lot of books to our local library. So in Forsyth County, the libraries, if you go into their little bookstores, they're all filled with books that came from my store. So all the books that we can't take, we send them there. We also have a great group near us called Teacher Reuse and Exchange, and it's basically where teachers can go shopping. And you don't have to be in my area to do that, so if you're a teacher and you need stuff, Write Down Teacher Reuse Exchange. They're amazing. And we donate a lot of kids' books to them. What else? We do author events, story times, book clubs. We try to do everything. I go to events. I do stuff like this a lot. Yeah. Today we're double booked. We're at a literary festival in Gwinnett, and then we're here. Next weekend I'm at a festival in Cumming, and we're also doing Georgia Red Clay Writers Festival. So we're busy.
Did you have anything to add to that, Ms. Lavanya?
What was the question?
It's all right. The uniqueness of the things that you're doing in your community, the importance of being in your community.
Yes, the importance of our community. So we're in Mableton, which now just became a city. So now we're doing more things with Mableton. And one thing that we love to do is donate books. As far as when people come in and they have different situations they're going through, we have like a pile of books where they can actually pick one out depending on their situation. So if they just lost their job, then sometimes we might have an inspirational devotional that might encourage them in that situation. If someone's going through a divorce or anything like that, then we will have books that will encourage them in that situation too. And we're working now with more churches as far as being their partners, and we're also working with the schools in the neighborhood.
So I'll pick up where she left off. Big initiatives from the onset and until forever is to work with schools and to get as many children's books into the hands of kids as possible. So throughout the year, we are going into schools. We're hopefully bringing authors to come and share their stories to inspire children to look and see, to inspire them to be whoever it is that they are going to grow into to be. I have a lot of quotes. When you read a book as a child, it becomes a part of you in a way that no other reading in your whole life does. And so our goal is to plant those seeds very early on, that you can be whoever it is you decide to be. And we work often with nonprofit partners, with the counties, to help secure books so that even those who may not always be able to afford that extra to purchase a book can get a brand new book in their hands. Hopefully supplied by nonprofit and literacy programs who also share our mission and vision.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Julia.
Yes.
What do you supply? What do you do? How does the bookworm make this community even better?
Let's start with Book Fest.
We'll start with the Book Fest. The goal for us, our tagline is where love is shared as much as stories. I always say we are more than a bookstore. A bookstore for me was a dream come true. Growing up, for me, books that looked like me and resembled me were in a shelf, not a whole store. I was limited and I had to hoard those books because I was like, I don't see myself in those books. I don't see my story. I don't see the things that I'm going for. So I wanted to always open a bookstore that reflected where everybody that walked in that store, they could find themselves in the book. So that is one of the biggest things for me in the community is diversifying that store. So no matter what you look like, no matter what you have going on in your life, you should be able to find a book that you can relate to. We are also sensory inclusive certified because, again, I want someone to walk in and feel welcomed and supported and loved. So we are always doing things in the community because even though I'm not from Georgia, I grew up in New York in a small town like this where everyone knew everyone. And I want you to walk into the bookstore, and if you need a book recommendation, not only myself, but anybody in there can give it to you. And that is what's the difference. I think that's the biggest difference in getting your book from an indie. One that's definitely involved in the community is we are going to know you by name most of the time. If we don't know you by name, we're going to know you by face. And it's not just going to be the owners, it's going to be the staff that does that as well. Because we are book lovers. We are not just a click on the machine. So I think that's the difference you get. So Julia does lots of things like we have walking book club, we have regular book club. We do open mic nights apparently now very regularly since we just did one this week. So again, lots of things like this. The Book Fest is 11 months of planning for us. It's something that we wanted to do. This will be year 4 of our citywide read, which will happen towards the end. So again, I want to bring this community together through words and literacy. Thank you. Do we have any questions for any of our panelists, including myself? All right, a couple of final words. I know we're a little over,
Wait,
but
I
this,
got a
yes,
question.
you got a question? You got a question?
Julia, what are you reading right now?
What am I reading? What am I not reading?
What are you not reading? What do you wish, if you weren't here, what would you be reading?
What would I be reading right now if I was not here? Actually, Farrah Rashan's Twisted Tales, because I started it before she came. It is Fate Be Changed. It was out last week. I am excited to pick that book back up.
And is that available in your bookstore?
It is so available in the bookstore, and it is available as a signed.
And is your bookstore open today?
And the bookstore is open today. Because it is, and it's also signed. It's a signed copy of that one. I'm just, and I know you guys can relate. We tend to read multiple books at a time.
Thanks to Libro FM, we are
Right.
able to do that.
We are able to do that. So, what are you guys reading before we head off stage? What are you reading?
I'm in the middle of the latest Murderbot book, and it's a great novella series about and it's about to be a TV show, I think, on Apple, about a murderous robot that is really funny. And if you are on the spectrum at all, you will totally love this character because you will relate to them or it. They prefer it. It prefers it. So, yeah, it's really good.
And you, Miss Lavanya?
I'm currently reading, I gotta say this right, What's the Shift? Shift, okay? SHIFT by Michelle McKinney Hammond. Everybody looks at the cover of their book and they're like, wait, whoa, does a faith-based store really have this book? And I was like, no, actually read it. What does it say right there? So yeah, but that's what I'm reading right now. It's a pretty good book, and I love all Michelle McKinney Hammond's books. She's a great inspirational author, and so I'm enjoying reading that one as well as quite a few other books right now too.
And you, Miss Bunny?
Okay. I wanted to also, before we end, add one of the things that we bring to the community as indie bookstores are the opportunity to create more community by sharing other bookstores, like Julia has done with us today by creating this wonderful panel, by inviting us to come and help her celebrate Book Fest and sell books and support these authors. And upcoming, Brave and Kind Books has partnered with at least 20 other bookstores in our city, including everyone sitting on this stage.
Thank you.
For what is called the National Independent Bookstore Day. And so one of our initiatives as we came on to the bookstore scene as a new bookseller was to think of ways that we could connect with our brother and sister in stores and create opportunities for us to support each other. I believe a rising tide lifts all ships. And so we reached out to our other bookstore friends, made new friends, and are encouraging our communities, all of our communities, to go out and shop every single independent bookstore in the city. We started April 1st. We'll go through April the 27th. We've created a fantastic IBD Bookshop Hop bingo card whereby you can take this fun and festive passport of sorts.
Yeah.
But it's a bingo card, and you can go around and discover new bookstores and new reads. And so something that we have discovered, so many fun new bookstores that we didn't know about when we opened our doors. New stores have opened their doors since we started this initiative last year. And we're excited to invite you all to go to ibdgahop.com and download your bingo card and join us all in the bookstores this week through April 27th. Okay.
Yeah, if you're a competitive person and you like, if you're a competitive person and you like bookstores, this is the thing for you. Bring a date, bring your mom, bring your kids. Just go to the mall. Like, okay, you don't have to go to the mall, but if you try really hard, you could probably do it.
That's right.
And there's prizes.
I was going to say, and most
prizes.
importantly, there are prizes.
Yes.
And so each store, I'm sure, will all have really fun and festive things happening and giveaways and games and prizes. But if you get bingo, you get entered into a raffle to win a stack of cards from all of the bookstores. So you could walk away with like $500 in book shopping money. And who doesn't want $500 to buy books? I know I do. Okay. When I read, oddly enough, someone talked me into reading Fourth Wing. Anybody has read that? It's very Game of Thrones, and I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. And well, you're right. It's not as violent.
But it is not kid friendly.
And it's slightly provocative, so it's for the grown-ups. It's for grown-ups too, even though I'm a children's bookseller. What am I reading on the? That's a good question. What's new? What's new? What's new? I'm reading. Blood Justice. I'm reading Blood Justice, coming out next week, by Terry Benton, who will be joining us today.
Thank you. So, can we, before they leave, give them a big round of applause? One thing I do want to highlight and thank you, Bunny is being very modest. It takes a lot to put together a hop with over 20 stores, independent bookstores, as we are being supportive. So again, it is bringing awareness, and it is the show of how we support each other and be allies instead of competition, because we're all in this together. So April 27th is Independent Bookstore Day. If you did not know, the last Saturday in April, every single year, is Independent Bookstore Day. And it is one of for us, sometimes that makes us, those sales get us through the entire quarter. So that is why it is so important to not only shop us during the year, but that actually helps us a lot. So stay tuned, and as Bunny said, the website is there. You can go to all of our pages, social media, all of that. You'll find out how we're supporting each other. One last thing, even with that being there, the bookstore panel of bookstore owners, including Jasmine, who are on this panel, when you MapQuest our stores, or MapQuest, man, did I just date myself. Wow. If you try to find our stores on a map, they form, when you pinpoint them, they form the shape of a heart. So going forward, these are the Georgia Heart of Stories right now, including the book one. So that is actually, for us, such a big thing. We do have some special toasts for you guys for being Georgia Heart of Stories. We do have some official toasts that will be available as well. So I want to thank you guys. They will be back at their table all day long selling books of all the authors. So ask them any questions, but I thank you. Thank you, thank you. Another round of applause.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are actually going to take a break from panels, but we got some giveaways happening.